All right. I appreciate our friends at VCR now. Now, we've got a real special treat for you. So I told y'all, unfortunately, you're stuck with me and not Mallory for the rest of the time. But I have good news. It's not just me alone. We're going to go to the hotline and welcome in, as we've been calling her, the Queen of Mount Pleasant. We welcome in Miss Coach Cluley. Courtney, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks so much for taking the time to hop on with us. We know that Coach
Thanks.
Cluley loves to hype up the fact that you're a fan of WTF, and we really appreciate that. So we were like, we got to have her on the show.
I do. I feel like there's nothing else like it out there. So it's nice.
So we're gonna start off with for anybody listening out there that maybe not from Mount Pleasant or hasn't you haven't crossed paths with. Tell us. You're obviously married to Coach Cluley out there at Mount Pleasant, but
Yep.
tell us a little bit about yourself and your family, and we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So I grew up in East Texas. So I'm back home. I grew up in Troop. I went to school in Tyler. It's where Joey and I met at TK Gorman in high school. And then went to A&M, got married, and have just been, traveling the state the last 16 years with Joey and, just traveling along, kind of being his ride or die. So
I love that. And I was going to say, so you're obviously, y'all are fresh off of year one there in Mount Pleasant. And we
yes.
knew, I mean, coming from a very successful stint at Lubbock Estacado before then, when we heard the news that y'all were getting to go back into East Texas, go back home, that has to be really special because like you mentioned, it's not just that you were following Coach Cluley back home. You're also
Yeah.
getting to go back home yourself. How special has that been for y'all?
It's been pretty amazing. I hadn't lived this close to home in like 20 years. So that was a huge draw for me, obviously, selfishly. And my kids, my mom's about an hour and a half away. So that's been really awesome. And then we got the surprise of a lifetime with having another baby. And so, I think everything kind of happens for a reason. And I think coming home was definitely like a huge catalyst and kind of wanting to expand our family a little bit. And so yeah, it's been really, really special.
What is the? I know the community anywhere that you go in Beast, Texas, as they call it. I mean, they're
Yeah.
football crazy people, but they back their programs. They're incredibly supportive. What does the community mean in Mount Pleasant to your family as a whole?
It's been pretty neat. Joey's dream has always been to be at a school like a one town team kind of situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I really hadn't experienced it. We'd done it once when we were in Lago Vista. We were there our first 4 years, and it was so cool. We made it to the state semis there, so you can imagine like how all that excitement. And then now that we've been here, it's been so nice. Like when we have games that are away or a little too far, the district will, let us leave early. And, that's just unbelievable and
Yeah.
so fun. And so it really is cool that every school in the district is like pulling for the Tigers. We're not split up between the different high schools. And that has been like a really fun process for our kids to be involved in. Yeah, and the people are just so nice. And yeah, it's been nice to have, trees and lakes and water and then just all the support on top of it. So,
No doubt. No, and it's funny that you bring that up about being a one horse town because that's how I
yeah,
grew up. But growing up in Llano, there was only one high school, and so everybody got
right.
about that. And that's what's so funny is I talked to Mallory about that, who went to Arlington. There's
Uh-huh.
hundreds of Arlington schools, it seems like. And so it's funny to talk about the difference, but it really, really is cool when you are
Oh,
in that one
there's
horse
nothing
town.
like it. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really hard to replicate that. Even in, Lubbock IC where we had so much support and loved the whole environment, you're split between four high schools.
Hmm.
So it was just my kids didn't go to the school that was zoned to Estacado. So they didn't really get to join in and kind of a lot of the celebration stuff. But here it's so fun. The whole like it's cute that my daughter is in kindergarten and then the kids like in her class will be like, oh, you're Coach Cluley. And, like they get excited when he's in the building and that kind of stuff's been really fun.
That is awesome. And from,
Yeah.
from a football perspective, I know that you are a wife that is all into the X's and O's. They're coming off of year one where you're
Hmm.
evaluating your husband's work here. How are you feeling about the Tigers?
He for better or for worse, right? I'm
Hmm.
his toughest critic probably, but no, it's gone well. I think we're excited to have spring football this year, and I think last year at this time we only had maybe one coach, Coach Licky, our defensive coordinator, had come with us. like at this point in the game. And so this year it's so nice to have everyone here, and like their off season is going, and spring football start next month, and just a lot of like, or I think April. But all the kind of the keys are in place, hopefully to like, kind of improve. And obviously we want to, I want to win 16 games a year, obviously, but I think there's so much room for growth, and the kids are just so bought in, and they're just so fun to be around. And so we're really excited for next year.
Well, we're excited to watch what y'all do out there. All right. So you mentioned it earlier. You've got two beautiful little girls, and you got a third one on the way. We keep telling Cluley that he's going to have a starting five here soon, which is fantastic. But I think that a lot of, there's a lot of coaches' wives that listen to this show, and I think that when you're put in that situation of, hey, you take over basically the whole household when football season rolls around. You got three little ones running around, two and a soon-to-be one. What are the keys to making that work? Because it's no way in the world it's easy.
No, it's not easy, but it's fun. And I think the only for our family, the only thing that works, I learned a long time ago to embrace it or resent it. Mm-hmm. And I just bought in because I wanted my kids to obviously be around Joey. And we were together for 5 years and then married for 5 years before we had kids. So, I had that experience. I knew how special it could be to just be really involved, and that whether that's like serving breakfast or being on every booster club or, just whatever it was, I wanted to be a part of it. Otherwise, I would be sitting at home like all by myself, and I just wasn't going to do that. And now my kids get to see, the impact that Joey gets to make on kids, and not only like football wise, and of course, getting offers and all the stuff that comes with that is wonderful, but all the life lessons that he teaches and all that we get to be a part of, and they get to see it, so that's been really special. But I couldn't do it without all of our other coaches' wives on our staff. They're awesome.
I was just going to say, it seems like y'all have a really good group of ladies out there, and I think that I'm sure that there's a sense of community there, because I feel like when it comes to being a coach's wife, that's something special. What would you say has been your favorite part of being a coach's wife, regardless of what crazy part of the state y'all were in?
Yeah. Well, my friend of ours is the head coach at Ryder in Wichita Falls, and his wife, I think he became a head coach maybe 2 years before Joey. And she told me once that no one in the stands is going to feel exactly how you feel except the other head coach's wife, right? Because that perspective is so unique. Mm-hmm. And she was right. Like every stage has something to learn from Joey being a freshman coach to, whatever, a DC, a D-line, whatever that the case has been. But you just really learn to, your circle is kind of small, but you just really lean on each other. And I was laughing about like, what do you need for a game? You need cash for the concession stand. You need a million different outfits because it's going to be cold or hot, no matter what, month of the year it is. And you need other coaches' wives to like handle one of your children while you go to the bathroom. So like you really, really lean on each other. Especially when you've been together for a long time. Like the Lakeys have been with us for like 10 years. So that's been really fun to like watch our families we have had no kids to now we'll have 6 between the two of us. So that's been fun.
A whole little pack of tigers there.
Yes.
And so that's the other thing. When you're going to these games, I always love to ask, because some coaches are very quiet and reserved on the sideline. Other coaches are slamming clipboards and screaming their heads off. If you had to describe Coach Cluley's demeanor when he's on the sideline, how would you describe that?
Well, if you know him, and you've been around him enough now to like, if you know him outside of football, he's a pretty laid back. Like, I always joke that he could be a hermit and like be hunting in the woods and be totally happy. But the flip side is like he's this unbelievably like great speaker and really outgoing. And but on the sideline, he's kind of a psycho in the best way possible. He is super excited, and it's fun to watch him like deal with refs now because. For, I don't know, the first 10 years, like that was someone else's job. And now I love to watch how he interacts with them. But he's really positive. Usually it's funny when he like jumps up and then, maybe it's a lot harder coming down now at 38 than it was at like 22, but it's fun to watch it for sure.
You hear that, Coach Cluley? We got to work on that vertical. Well, and this is another question in that same kind of vein, and I didn't prep you for this one, so we're going on the fly here, but
okay.
We're always interested to know when there are some people, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a fan, whether you're a coach, whoever, that if your team loses, some people completely shut down for the rest of the night. Other people are able to kind of turn it off when they get home. How is that with y'all's whole dynamic? Are you the one that goes home and gives him an earful about what he did wrong, or how are we working here?
Well, it depends if it's an away game or a home game. So if there's a home game, we have an after party for all of our coaches and families of every home game. So, but that's a good chance for them to just kind of get it out of their system, right? They'll put some film up, or we'll watch like their Friday night sports stuff. But really they just kind of talk it out. Those are always more fun when you win, obviously.
Yes.
But the losses, usually someone's uploading the film as they're driving, and then he's watching it, and I'm texting him being like, what was this call? Can you believe this happened? I'm sure I should stop that eventually, but like I want to know his perspective all the time. But to me, Saturday evenings are the best, because then he's really watched it, like 12 times, and we can really talk through like what happened. And for better or for worse, I eventually will like lay off, but I got to know, especially the bad calls, I'm like a psycho. So I want to know, was it really pass interference, or did he really score? Did he really run out of bounds? All those things. So.
See, this checks out because your Canadian Kit Kat dealer, Mr.
Oh my
Matt
gosh.
Stepp, I know he was lucky enough to get to sit next to you during a Mount Pleasant game, and he was like, Pickle, you have to experience this because she's off the charts. Like, she's the coach of this team.
I'm a psycho. I always joke my blood pressure, like I should probably I should be medicated a little bit for those games, but you just know how hard they work and how much practice has gone into it and all the worry. And then, the backstory of like, so-and-so, family went through this week, or so-and-so's grades were, we were worried about. And so all that plays into like every down, and you just want them to succeed, obviously, because they've worked so hard for it. So.
All right, we'll get you going on an ender here. We at Women Talking Football, our main goal is to be able to embarrass these coaches whenever we possibly can. I think they recognize that. It's a mutual agreement. And so we need some fuel for all the other coaches on the Mount Pleasant staff to be able to give Joey a hard time. What is the sweetest thing that Coach Cluley has ever done for you?
Oh, gosh. I was thinking about that question earlier. I think the biggest one is that I went to college and I thought I never want to stay home. I always want to work. I've worked so hard to, get a degree and blah, blah, blah. I want to be this. Well, when we moved to Lubbock, I decided I wanted to stay home, and he was like so supportive of it. He was like, absolutely, we'll make it work. Financially, obviously it was a huge transition, but it was so fun. And I didn't realize how much I was missing. And then I got 5 years of it. That's and then awesome. When I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to, go back to work, and I got my real estate license. So he supported me through that. And then it's worked out so well to be a coach's wife who's moved and then been able to help all of their other wives move, So that to me was like an amazing, like sacrificial thing that he's done.
That is awesome. That is we can't make fun of him for that. Good guy, Coach Cluley.
It was a good one.
Well, she is Mrs. Coach Cluley. That's the only thing we're ever going to address her by, because it's a fantastic Twitter handle, a lover of Canadian Kit Kats, and a great mom to some beautiful little girls. Congratulations again on the third one. We look forward to meeting her. And hey, best of luck next season. Go get them.
Thanks so much.
Perfect.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. There she goes. Mrs. Coach Cluley, the queen of Mount Pleasant. We absolutely appreciate her taking the time to join us. We've gotten to know Coach Cluley very well throughout the years here at Dave Campbell's. A stand-up guy, one of our favorite coaches, and Mrs. Coach Cluley is a huge reason for that. So we hope that you enjoyed that interview with Miss Coach Cluley. Like I said, that's her Twitter handle, so there's just no way that we're calling her anything else, because that's just fantastic. So we appreciate her time.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.